Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. And something I just thought about as I was saying the date, the last day of the year is 12/23/23. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that's isn't that right? Isn't that crazy? So wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 12/31/23. Anyway, on that note, good morning and welcome. I'm so excited. I am outside today in sunny Florida, and it's actually a little chilly. The sun's just starting to crust over the trees, and I'm enjoying my coffee at my beautiful farm here in South Florida. I moved here just recently, and I am loving it. I'm Jen Hall, and I'm so grateful if you're watching that you're here. If this is the first time that you are watching one of my videos, please just let me know. I would love to say hello and get to know you. And if you've been watching my videos, drop me a comment and let me know that you are here and that we are friends. So let me know that you're here so I can say hello. And if you're watching the replay, just drop a hashtag replay. Good morning, Darcy. Good morning. So welcome to Zenergen. It is Giving Tuesday, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about giving. And I might get a little emotional because I just recently lost a dear friend of mine's horse, and it actually was one of the very first horses I ever trained as a professional. And his name was Rio, and he's very much like my Maverick persona, very introverted, very stoic, very regal, very giving. And it really made me think over the weekend, over the Thanksgiving weekend, while I was with him at the hospital. First off, about the woman who owns him. Not that, in my opinion, I don't believe that we actually own animals. I believe that we have the beautiful opportunity to have stewardship of an animal for the time that it's with us. And yes, my horses are like my kids, but the natural order of things would dictate that they will not outlive me. I will outlive them, which is sort of challenging because we take in any of us, whether we have a goldfish or a cat or a dog, we get connected to these animals. And interestingly enough, specifically with horses, because they do live, quite a bit longer. They live to be, into their 30s. And, dogs live, can live to be up to, 18, 20. And, we're going to get up there at those older types. But think about it. When you have something that you are giving to, and you have stewardship, and they're going to transcend before you, that's a huge undertaking. So acknowledge yourself for even taking that on. I have five, five kids of my own, and I share them with the world in the form of my retreats and my workshops and seminars and virtual trainings, and to help people understand what these horses have to give. Because horses, I did a post about Rio. That's the name of the horse that we recently lost. And or that Denise lost. She's a beautiful soul, is a giving tree herself. And that's how I look at horses. They're like giving trees. They give to us when they're born. They give to us, because they're so cute and want to watch, just to observe them out in the pasture. Anytime I drive by, I'm still doing that number, even though I have my own. So what do you have that gives to you in that way? And what do you have that you give to in that way? And when I talk about it, and I have something called the relationship labyrinth, and it really is about discovering who are your 2 a.m.ers, who are your yes and people, and those are horses. And the beautiful thing about the horse and how giving they are is that they will give you something that most humans won't. Horses will give you the truth. They will give you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. They don't care about your boundaries. They don't care about your feelings. That's not partly true, but they give you the truth, and they care about your feelings, but they also know that the feelings that you're having are actually creating duality. They're creating separation. They're creating a divergence between you and your divine soul. And that's how I look at horses. They're like a lightning rod to the divine. And I'm watching Maverick out here, my Rio personality, just sitting out here, just eating hay, doing his own thing and being living directly in the present moment and being exactly where his hooves are. And that's one of the things that Jesse Itzler says that is so brilliant. He says, be where your feet are. Be present. You never know what can happen in the generous present when you take your eyes up out of your device or, out of your book or out of your problems. Like usually we're doing this because we're trying to escape from our problems. But when we can look deep inside ourselves through the soul of a horse, because they are a lightning rod to the divine, we will see something that whether we're ready to receive it or not, we will receive something that is absolutely beautiful. And that's where the horses really give. And it's throughout their lifetime. I've had Dante since he was about 4.5. I've had Trace, my white horse, since he was about 4.5. And they're about a year apart in age. And I got them almost 19 years ago. So they've been giving to me and I've been giving to them for almost 2 decades. And I look at them as they start to get older and see how much they still give. I go out there every day, they're on. Every day they show up to give in their purest form. And if they're having a bad day, they don't tell me, not in the same way we tell each other. And that's the difference between horses and humans, is that we connect by complaining and through our problems, especially ladies. That's how we connect. We connect through sisterhood and complaining and talking about our problems. I had one of my good friends last night. She needed a vent. Fine. Venting is very specific and very different. It's a cleansing, and there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. When you take that last sweep of the mop across the floor, you don't dunk it back in the dirty water and keep mopping and keep mopping and keep mopping. You go, the floor is clean. Now let's move on to something else, instead of going back with your dirty mop water over the floor and over the floor, because that's how we create connection. Horses don't do that. Horses give you the information and then go, now fuck off, go do it. Right. And that's the big piece. And what, however you look at it, and I know my friends are like, my PR friends are like, don't drop F bombs, Jim. I don't care. The horses are. They're going, I don't really care what you're doing. I'm going over here, and I'm going to show up with the same energy you're showing up. You may be talking a good game. I recently had some really tough clients who were really stuck in their story, and they were so stuck, the horses were getting frantic about it. They're like, we can't listen to this energy vibration in our world. And it got so bad that my white horse Trace attacked my miniature horse Tuesday, and then it created an internal conflict within my horses. And I was like, that's it, guys. My horses are trying to tell you something and you are not listening. And that's okay, but that's not okay for my horses, because I'm here to give to them too. And you must respect the horse's space. We're interrupting their day. They're not interrupting ours. So who in your life are you giving to, over giving to, over delivering to, that hasn't deserved it, hasn't shown up, isn't bringing their game to the table and reflecting the way a horse would? My horses are like my best friends, because I can go out there and tell them the truth, and they're go, I don't, no judgment, man. Planet Fitness is onto something, but they suck because they still have judgment, because we're there to, there's still judgment with the human ego. There is no judgment with the horse. None. He says, this is the truth. Or she says, this is the truth. This is how you're showing up. And I'm going to respond in kind. And you might have to filter through their past experiences and their patterns and their behaviors, but there's no agenda with the horse. There's no, well, if I sit here and talk to her for a while and get my 7 minutes of rapport in, then I can tell her about the new program I've just launched or the new idea I just had. They don't do that. They just say, are you here for me, or am I here for you? And that's what you have to ask yourself when you walk into the stable or the relationship. You ask yourself, am I there? Why am I doing this? Am I getting on the horse's back for me, or am I getting on the horse's back for them? And I love riding. I love horseback riding. I mean, I'm not sure. Jim Gaffigan said, why do we call it horseback riding? We don't ride a different part of the horse. We're not riding their butts, which is kind of funny and a little true. So when we go and ride the horse and we get on there, you got to think about it this way. Your energy centers, your chakras are all, if they're out of alignment, are all going straight into the solar plexus. You're sitting on the back of the horse and you're right between their heart center and their solar plexus. So you're in between their power and their heart. And if your energy centers are not aligned and you're sitting on the back of a horse, guess what they're going to give you? They're going to give you feedback. It's going to be honest feedback. And they're also, because they're such empathetic creatures, they're also going to absorb that energy. I had a time where I was watching, it was after a retreat, and my assistant, Gail, was out riding, and she was riding Dante, and he was looking like he was crippled or something. It was horrible. I was like, what is going on? She said, I don't know. I'm trying to, whatever. And interestingly enough, Dante is, we call him my 1,200-pound Tony Robbins, because he's so, the greeter is larger than life, this big, powerful, powerhouse horse. But there is such a sensitivity to him, just like Tony, who has this giant heart, who wants to give. And sometimes he kind of loves on you with a 2x4, but that's the way that's his personality type. And as long as you can not, like Don Miguel Ruiz says, not take it personally. Do not take what any information the horse gives you personally, but take it because they're giving it to you. All the way till their dying breath, a horse will be giving to you. They'll be giving you opportunities to have compassion, to have patience, to own yourself, to have strength of leadership, to be still and be in the moment. I look at these horses. I'm looking at him right now, and Maverick's out here just, chilling in the pasture. And I look at them and I see how what they give. And they don't give you like candy. They give you opportunities. They open the door for when you are ready to walk through, to be the lover, the leader, and the self-love, compassionate person that you need to be for yourself. These horses will continue to give and continue to give. And when I was at the hospital doing everything I could to help Rio, I had a conversation with him, and I really realized that I do communicate with the animals, and I do connect to them through source. And I asked him, I said, what's going on? Are you ready to go? And he goes, I'm ready. And I said, okay, are you sure? And he goes, well, I'm 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 not ready to stop living, but I am ready to stop working. And oh my God, what an insight. And he says, I don't trust that I won't have to go back to work. And so I've lived a long life and I'm okay to transcend. I'm tired. And that's when okay, I'm with you. I'll support you, whatever. And I fought for him, but I won't fight with him. When it's time and it's the flow, they will give you that opportunity to be in deep flow as that lightning rod to the divine. And when you connect to them at that heart level, and now that I'm at my new facility and I'm here on property with my horses and they're in my backyard, they are talking to me all the time. And sometimes I have to go off property because I'm like, you guys, you know, I hear you. I know you're bored. I have to work. I have to prepare. I have people coming to come and see you. And they need that connection and interaction and love too. And they'll give you those pieces of information of how to just be a better human. Horses will help you be a better human being. And they will help you heal wounds that are inside you that you didn't even know were there. I have learned so much about how much fear I had inside me, about how much of a shell I was projecting to say, I'm okay. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. When actually I'm dying on the inside. And that's when I can go out into the barn and just bury my face into their mane and cry. And incidentally, Maverick is one of my best horses to do that with because he says, I get it. I understand. I've been there too. He did 41 starts as a racehorse. That is a lot of races. He raced 41 times, guys. That's a lot. I mean, that's one a month for 3.5 years. And he raced for 11 years. So he trained throughout those over a decade. I mean, how much more could you give? He's 23 hours in a stall. He lives most of his time in a little box being fed like lots of high fuel so he can run fast. And then they put a small human, smaller than me, most days, and then they hit him with a stick, which is crazy. You guys, people watch my videos and criticize me for like using a stick to direct them or guide them. I'm like, look at my little T-Rex arms. Their bodies are really long. I can't reach all the way back there to sort of influence that movement, right? But yet we'll watch them and cheer them on and wear a fancy hat and eat, drink a mint julep and celebrate how fast they can run because a small person can get on their back and hit them with a stick. And that's their life, and they raise them as babies. And here I'm getting on my soapbox about this, but I'll tell you, they will do it. They will do it, and they'll snap their legs and they'll break their, until you break their spirit. And then they come to me. And then they come to me, and then I come to you and I say, come experience this, because we've all had that. We've all had that shut down. Just like you, I've been shut down and isolated and criticized and rejected. We've all felt those feelings. Same as Maverick. Dante, his story. I'm not even allowed to tell it in the barn because he gets so upset. He was so severely abused before I got him. Yet they keep on giving. Yet they keep giving. And I would ask for you to think about contributing to these horses. I have a program called the Zen Club that allows you to be a part of it. And I give back to you. It's not just, hey, give money to the horses. Although a bale of hay runs between 35 and 40 bucks down here. So everything helps. And I live the mission. This is my life. This is what's under my fingernails. This is what's in my skin. It's what's in my soul. And it's what I want to share with the world, because my passion for these animals flows through me. And I know that when you have an opportunity to engage with a horse that's been through hell, you can look at your own hell and go, I can keep going and make it too. I can keep going. I don't know, I think it was Churchill that said, when you find yourself in the middle of hell, keep going. Just keep going. And Rio kept going his whole life. And I had the great privilege of engaging with him for a few years. And he's, like Maverick, one of the sweetest, kindest, most giving souls I've ever met. And I look at my 5 guys and all the other, I don't know how many horses I've had the opportunity and great honor to have stewardship, if even for but a short time. And it's encouraged me to make the decision to start and launch my own 501c3 rescue, an actual rescue where I'm bringing in these animals that have been abused, overused, neglected, tortured, cast aside, thrown out like tissues, and bring them in and show you the healing power that horses have. There's so many people out there, and there's so much science behind this now. I just found out that Deepak Chopra Institute, or Deepak Chopra Center, is endorsing and promoting and sponsoring horse healing. Tony Robbins knows about it. I know about it. I mean, there's so much science behind the healing power that these animals have. And it's a tragedy that more people don't have an opportunity to experience horses. So that's what I've created. I've curated experiences for anyone from any price point, from anywhere from $37 to $3,000, whatever $30,000, whatever you want to do. If you want to come and experience these horses, I want to give you an opportunity to check out my YouTube channel, go to my Facebook page, come watch my lives, come experience them in person. I don't train horses. I communicate with them. I develop them. I connect with them. I build a relationship with them. And I want you to be able to have that opportunity to do the same. Ultimately, my vision, and I've done this in the past, is to take people, 4 people, 5 days, 4 horses, to go through an experience that will transform them. And I want the horses to have no experience, and I want the humans to have no experience. And I've done it, and I've seen it, and it's unbelievably effing magical to see a horse that's been damaged or rescued from a neglect situation, what have you, with a person that has no skills with horses, none at all, to come out and at the end of the time be able to do a lot of the things with these horses that I wasn't able to do for years. It took me years to be able to do it. because I was trying to focus on the skill. I was trying to focus on the technique. I was trying to focus on the how. I was trying to focus on what I needed to do to get them to do X, Y, and Z. But what I really needed to do was become who I needed to become. And who I needed to become had certain characteristics. And then when the characteristics started to develop and they started to build on each other, the skills that went with those characteristics started to follow. The strategies, the behavior followed the who I became, who I was becoming and continuing to become. Become a better human. Learn how to be more compassionate, to have more patience, to listen with a healing ear, to understand where people and recognize patterns. Oh my God, there's the P word. Patterns are everything. Because when you recognize a pattern, you can decide whether you want to continue that pattern and amplify it. Like a good pattern of behavior is going to the gym every morning or eating a healthy diet. That would be a good pattern, versus getting up and having an eye opener with a, vodka in the coffee. And I kind of make an extreme example to make my point, but it's true. Whatever your pattern is, and can we always elevate our pattern? Absolutely. But it's not necessarily by reading a book or, scrolling through and finding a meme that speaks to you. It's about connecting to source, capital S, and tapping into your divine energy and listening to God and your higher power, whatever that means to you. And for me, when I get out with these horses, I'm in a vortex. I have 4 horses in my barn. It's set up really cool because I have 2 on each side. And you walk in, it's like this cool, like vortex of unbelievable energy. And then I got my little munchkin in the middle that, she just kind of free ranges. She runs around without her diaper on, and it's the cutest thing ever. So if you want to experience this, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Darcy, I'm not going to let you go. You got to come down if you're still watching. And I would love nothing more than to share the gifts that helped me transcend from honestly kind of a raven bitch. I was kind of a raven bitch. I would have good. Thank God that back then there wasn't what we have now, because I was kind of a caring, and now I'm like, let it flow, let it grow, let it be, and have boundaries. And talk about the difference between empathy and compassion on another video, because those of us that are empathetic tend to have a struggle with boundaries. And I know I recognize that my Karen was to protect the fear of the empathy I was having for people, because my heart was in so much pain. And then when I found myself homeless, I woke up to a Facebook message from a strange woman about my husband to find out that he was a financial criminal and he went to federal penitentiary. I don't know, he still might be there. But it left me homeless. I threw everything in a storage unit, went and moved in with my personal assistant and waiting tables at almost 40. That was a devastating experience. When you get a message from a strange woman on Facebook about your husband, at that point, it would have been better. It'd been better if it'd been cheating. But the financial crimes followed me for almost a decade, and it took me years to pull through it. And the one thing that pulled me through was my horses, because it was a place where I could go where I didn't feel judged, because I was getting it from all angles. My father wouldn't speak to me. My brother had passed away. I was being ostracized, rejected. I was completely isolated. I was having night terrors and panic attacks. I was cutting and self-mutilating, self-medicating. I was a disaster, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified. But when I would go out to my horse, I would feel like this unbelievable serenity and this peace, just this sense of peace that was like, what is this feeling? And that was the only place I knew where to get it. Now, since then, I have found a million other places, because I knew what it looked like and I knew what it felt like. And so I could recognize it. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck, right? And so I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. And so when I would start seeing it, and I would start seeing it in people, and I would start to see it in the kindness of others, and I would just start to see it in myself. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm like this too. This is actually who I am. I'm not this person that bitches about her steak being overcooked it's pink, not red. Like, just enjoy what's in front of you. Try something different. Be open. Who knows? Lightning could strike. And that's what happened. My white bolt of lightning in horse form, his name is Trace, like Tres, like uno, dos, tres. He was his mother's third foal. So I call him Trace because I'm an American and nobody goes, Trace, what? Um, but he saved me. And I know that with the horses I have in my stable and the thousands of horses out there that I have worked with and endeavor to work with, my mission is huge. My mission is to change the way we look at ourselves through the eyes of horses and help get this mental clarity and mental stability and serenity within ourselves. Horses can feel our heartbeats up to 4 feet away. And when you start getting around them and getting into that vortex, when they're in homeostasis, you start to get into homeostasis too. You can fight it. And when you do, they will react in kind. But if you get still and quiet, right? When you come out to the barn and you got all this side talk and, chitter chatter, it's bullshit. And the horses will tell you. And you wonder, oh, well, he stepped on my foot because you weren't there. He said, that says be where your feet are. Jesse says it. The horses will reinforce it. Be in the present and give yourself this gift. Give yourself the opportunity to go out and lay your hands on one of these horses. I'll take you through a process so your hands don't contaminate them with your energy. Well, clear yourself, ground yourself, earth yourself, and get in touch with these horses and learn. Learn about the personalities, learn about how to engage, how to deal with a matcher or a mismatcher, a person that says yow but all the time. I know I have a lot of yow butters in my life and they drive me batshit, right? But I've learned how to adapt the way I communicate because I realize that's the way they're wired. Dante's like that. He's like, yeah, but I think I'll go right. Now he's better since I've learned how to adapt. So did he change or did I? When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Wayne Dyer. And it's one of the most beautiful things when you see the reflection of a horse and a human having harmony and connection and true unity, because you know that that human is showing up in a way that that horse understands, and it aligns all of the things that connect you to source. And I want to be connected and aligned to source. I don't know about you. So enjoy your Tuesday. Feel free to give. I'm going to post in the comments an opportunity for you to offer support to these beautiful horses and to me and the mission of saving horses and changing lives, and an opportunity to learn how to believe in yourself. It will change your life. This is not a handout. This is an opportunity to connect. So thank you for tuning in. I love you and believe in yourself. It will change your life.